Okay, so tonight we're gonna actually answer a question that the haters are asking. Now, one of the strongest questions or points that the haters have is, why does Michael Jackson sleep in bed with children, and why are Michael Jackson's fans okay with this? They like to make points like, oh, if Michael Jackson didn't dance or sing, you wouldn't be okay with it. It's just because it's a celebrity that you let the sleeping in bed with children go. Well, to all the haters that actually think they know more about mental health than I do, let me give you yet another mental health lesson, so that I can give you factual-based information. I'll even put links below this time if you really don't want to believe me just because I am saying it. And then you can go on Twitter and talk about how wrong I am, even though this is all stuff that psychiatrists agree with, but whatever, you wanted an answer, so you got it. First thing I want to say is that I actually don't think it's okay that Michael did that. Just so you know. And actually, a lot of fans don't. A lot of fans don't agree with what Michael did. We understand it, but we don't agree with it. Yes, there is a difference, you narrow-minded people. I actually thought it was very inappropriate for him to do that. Not sexually inappropriate, because that didn't happen, but just it wasn't a very smart idea. Because, you know, there's a lot of judgmental people in the world who will judge him and take a simple sleepover and make it sexual. You guys. And, you know, like, because of that, you know, because of the ignorant and narrow-minded world that we live in, obviously people are not going to take it for what it actually is. They're going to completely distort it to make it look sexual. So in that sense, what Michael did was a very dumb idea. It's also a dumb idea in itself, you know, you're having children in your bed. It's probably not the smartest thing to do, regardless if anything sexual happened or not. So no, I actually don't agree with him, just like how I don't agree that he should have put Blanket over the balcony back in 2002. He did not hurt Blanket, he did not molest Blanket, he did not drop him. Doesn't change the fact that it was a pretty stupid thing to do. The same applies to this. So no, I don't excuse him in the sense that it was in fact stupid. But it is understandable. Next point is, why is it understandable? Well, now it's time for your mental health lesson for all you people who think you know more than me, but yet you can't figure this out. Ironic. But anyway, here's your lesson. As a child, Michael Jackson slept in a 2-bedroom house with 9 children. So obviously, common sense would tell you that he obviously shared a bed with at least 3 or 4 of them. 1 bed for 4 children. So obviously, not only sharing a bed but being cramped into one became very common for Michael because it happened ever since he was a child. That sort of mentality will pass on as a adult, and the mentality of sharing your bed being completely normal because it was normal for him will pass on as an adult. Are you still with me? Good God. So obviously, as an adult, he will still have the mentality that sharing a bed is completely normal, and that is why he had children in his bed. Michael said in his own words that he would ask the parents' permission if the kids can do it, therefore proving he didn't invite them in. And I know you're going to deny that Michael said if your parents are okay with it, you can, because it goes against your beliefs, but I strongly believe that Michael did say that. So that also proves that he didn't invite them in, but more or less that they asked him, thus invited themselves, but that's aside the point. The psychology demands that as a child, when you share a bed with children or your brothers and sisters for your entire childhood and teenagehood, naturally you're going to think the same thing as an adult and find that sharing your bed is very normal. In the Martin Bashir interview, he said, and I quote, "Why can't you share your bed?" See, most pedophiles would never say that because pedophiles are secretive. No pedophile is going to openly admit that they do that. Michael did because he's not a pedophile. Pedophiles do not openly talk about it. Pedophiles do not openly say, yeah, I've had children in my bed. Pedophiles usually go into defensive and denying mode. Michael Jackson does not because he's not a pedophile. Anyway, so, he doesn't invite them in, they invite themselves, he says yes. Sharing a bed for him is incredibly normal because he did it all his life. But yeah, when he said in Martin Bashir, why can't you share your bed, he's actually asking, you can tell from the way it's worded, he's genuinely asking, why can't you? Because it's very normal for him. Most pedophiles would never ask that kind of question. The fact that Michael openly says, well, what's wrong with it? Michael knows that doing sexual things is wrong. It's just that he thinks that having children just in the bed, sleeping, or playing video games or whatever, is completely normal because it was normal for him growing up. So the question, why can't you share your bed? He's genuinely asking why. I don't understand why you can't. As long as you're not touching them sexually, what's wrong with it? Little did he know that there is a world of judgmental people like you that will judge him having a sleepover and call it being sexual. I do understand your point about unrelated children. A lot of fans will say, oh, well, parents sleep with their kids, and then you reply back with going, yes, but at least they're related. I do understand your unrelated children comment, but at the same time, it simply does not apply. Why does it not apply? Well, for two reasons. Number one, it was normal for him, but I'll go a little bit deeper. First reason is because, yes, it's normal for Michael. And the second reason is because, yes, we may not be related to Michael Jackson by blood, but at the same time, your basis is not simply because of blood. It's also because of knowing the person. Obviously, family members know each other the best, but that's thrown out the window pretty quick because even family members can be pedophiles to other family members. So let's stick with the logics here. As fans, we do know Michael, but we know him from a distance. You can say that we don't know the real him. At the same time, though, that applies to actual pedophiles because, again, they are the guy next door. So, again, irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, us as fans know Michael from a distance. We've known him for years. He's the most famous person in the whole world. We know who he is. We've seen, people talk about him, whether they're close friends or family. There's been many fans who have met him and spoke about their friendship with him. There's many children who've slept over and spoke about it later on who were never molested and spoke about how great he was and how enjoyable the sleepovers were and how they weren't molested. So because of everything that people say about him who actually know him, whether they're family members, very close friends, or children who have met him and came back home perfectly alive and unmolested, it's safe to say that we all really know who he is from a distance. And that is also why it's okay to sleep with him regardless if he's related or not, because we simply know him from a distance. We know him enough and we trust him. We know his kind heart, we know what he stands for, we know his music, we know just the kind of person he is. And that is why we can trust him like a family member. That's why a lot of people call him, a father figure. I call him a father figure because I like to think of him as a father to me because of how much he did for me. Is he my father by blood? No, he's my father by mentor and father figure, role model, inspiration, etc. I know him from a distance, and that is why your related or unrelated children comment is also irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, every single one of your points is invalidated, and psychologically it makes perfect sense because of how he shared a bed as a child. I know that every single hater is going to ignore this video because there's proof in it, but you wanted an answer, you wanted a real answer, honest answer that has psychological basis. If you don't believe me, please Google it and don't go on Twitter acting like a bunch of assholes that you know more than me because you don't and never will. If you like this video, remember to subscribe to the 3 of my channels and my fan page, Facebook fan page and Twitter page. I've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to bed. Please subscribe. Good fucking night and go to hell, haters.